Olayinka, Sheun Adeyemo, Justin Mayo, Anastasia, McDonald, Joseph Kwana, Olani Dada, Elizabeth, Nkem Dike, Donald Soar, The World, Shigo Nwafo, Stephanie Lee, Fleck Karin Matip, Stella Feintola, Christina Lampe, Yomi Jegede, Paul Eric, Sunday Awe, Akomolafe Julius, Paul Awodele, Stella Nuhu. Welcome everyone, nice to see you all. Another day of glory, another day of God's visitation. As you are coming in, please go ahead and let's go ahead and share the link. Go ahead and share the message. That's the way you'll be able to have this message for yourself. So go ahead and share the link of the message. Infant Benny, Favor Emmanuel, Hosea, Willie Waniki, Ayesha, Ayodele Alex, Okwoma, King Abel, T.Y. Moore. Yeah, nice to see all of you. Let's go ahead and share the message, please. Sorry that I came a little bit late today. You know, like I said, today is a busy week for me. I am doing I'm doing a leadership school today in the church here for the local church here in Kyiv, Ukraine. So I'm busy from morning to night. And I'm just finishing from the classes with the Ukrainians, Russians here. And I'm coming right from there to meet you. So before we set up everything, sometimes it's not always on time, so sorry for that. Josephine Onabo, Success, Tobinsi, Tokumbo, Afiniki, Emmanuel Rotimi, Gbemi Orekoya, Jesse Arnett, Oluwaseyi, Kike Adetiba. Welcome everyone. Well, today's message is, like I've said, today's message is change. Change. Change is a big word, but change the reason for your crisis. You remember yesterday, I think I spoke about comfort, the reason for your crisis. Now, I want to give another reason for that it could be responsible for your crisis, another reason why you might be in the crisis that you are in today. That reason is change. You know, change is, like we always say, and all of us know that change is the most constant of anything in life. Is the most meritable constancy that we have in life. And nothing that could be guaranteed to happen other than change. And the Bible even said that we will not, even death is not as constant as change. That change is more constant, it's more guaranteed, it's more assured than death. Like, it's like the most meritable thing in life to be constant is death. But no, change is more constant and it's more predictable. It's more sure than death. The Bible says not everybody will die. Like Enoch never died. Elijah was taken away, he never died. And some of us will not die if we happen to be alive when Jesus comes back. So not all will die, but all will definitely change. That one is for sure. Everyone will definitely change. There is no way you will not change. I mean, you change from when you are small, you change when you are a toddler, to when you are a child. Then from when you are a child, you change to when you are a teenager. From when you are a teenager, you change to when you are a young adult. From when you are a young adult, you change to when you are adult. We all change. There is just no way we don't change. Everybody will change. I mean, you know, Maybe you want to look at your picture 20 years back. I'm sure you must have noticed some changes, isn't it? Some of us are changing as we are talking right now. The other day I went to actually while I was here in this my office, I guess they have better light here in the office. So I went to the bathroom. I was going there to comb my hair. You guess what I discovered? Guess what I discovered? Another change shock. Another change was coming my way. Get what I discovered? I discovered that the change is going on as we speak. I discovered that I have a bunch of gray hair coming up everywhere in my head. That is change, real change right there. Because I noticed them, they were not there the other day. A few years ago, all of them were black. Now, I have some white things, some white hair, looking up, looking up at me. And it's like they were all screaming from everywhere. Look at me, I'm here, change is coming. And all of us are going to experience that change. You are all going to experience that change, I bet you. You think you will never have gray hair? Well, let's see. So that's what we are saying, that change is the most meritable constancy that could be guaranteed. It is very guaranteed, it's very sure that change must come. And the thing with change is that it must come regularly, not just once in a lifetime change. It must be change that is regular. On daily basis, there must be one change or the other taking place in your life. So, but when we don't want to change, when you don't want to change, you know what that means? Anybody that is resisting change, you know what you're doing? Guess what? Anyone that does not want to change, I don't want to be in a hurry to tell you what to expect and what you are doing. Any attempt to escape change, any attempt to resist change, any attempt to run away from change, you know what it is? You know what it is? Any attempt to escape change, means an invitation to crisis. Any attempt to resist change is an invitation for crisis. You are extending an invitation letter to crisis. If you don't want to change, you open door for crisis. Unwillingness to change is an open invitation. God will make sure He arranges a crisis for you right behind you. There is a crisis knocking at your door. It doesn't matter how much you try to hide from that crisis, it's going to come from where you never expected it. And God is going to make that person to press that button of the change that you are not expecting or you didn't want to have in the first place. So change is a constancy. Change is the only veritable thing that could be guaranteed in life. Change is a veritable constancy. Veritable constancy. There is no doubt about it. There is no running away from it. Change is something that we will all experience, and change is something that we can all that we can not all run away from. None of us can run away from it. And any attempt from us to resist change or to run away from change will only land up in crisis and in more trouble, in more sorrow, in tragedy, and things like that. So if you say, it's just like saying somebody who is 5 years old or 10 years old, he says, I refuse to grow. I don't want to become an adult. I refuse to grow. I will not grow. you know that is not possible. And no matter, I say, okay, I will not eat. I refuse to eat because I don't want to grow. I will not eat. I will not do this. I don't want to grow. That will result in that person getting sick. That will result to that person being incapacitated. That person will become, bedridden, and eventually it's going to, be a threat to his life. So the risk of changing is nothing compared to risk of remaining how you are. Any time that you decide to remain the way you are taking more risk than the risk of change. So to want to try to remain the same way all the time is taking too much risk. It's actually too risky. It's too risky. So for you to say, I will not change, I like the way I am, well, nobody is asking you. What you are going to get is crisis. It's crisis. You are inviting crisis whenever you say you don't want to change. There are some people, we have, I don't know what you call it, they call it something, when young ladies, young girls, because they want to go for modeling business, or they want to become a model, and they don't want to grow fat, they don't want to grow big, and they want to remain, what they call it, 90, 60, 90? They call it 90, 60, 90. They want to remain with a figure of 90, 60, 90. They want to remain tiny, thin, and slim, and that's what they think is beautiful. And they say, okay, they want to remain and have that figure, and they refuse to eat. They begin to restrain from themselves from eating. What do they call that problem? There's a problem like that when girls refuse to eat because they want to become models, and they become so emaciated, and they are not able to eat. And it become in some countries that's a very big problem. Can't remember the word they use for it, but it's not bulimia. Bulimia is when you eat and you throw out. But this is anorexia. Yeah, is it anorexia you call it? Yeah, anorexia. So anorexia is because it's a bigger problem than being fat. I mean, at least being normal. It's better for them to eat to just eat regular. Just eat your food. It's less danger for you to eat your food and get your weight on than to suffer from anorexia. Anorexia. Yeah, anorexia. It's better to eat and put on some more weight. You take less risk. You have less danger. But when you refuse to eat that way, when you say, no, I just want to remain like I was, you are 26, but you want to remain like you are 16. Or you are 30, you want to remain like 14. And just say, no, I want to be a model, I will not eat. You land up in the hospital in a bad shape. You are in trouble. You get anorexia, and you become a patient. And when you get that anorexia, you will not be able to walk. You have strength to go out. You will not have strength to dress. You will not even have strength to go and do the modeling work that you are not eating, that you wanted to do in the first place. So you lose your opportunity. You lose your chance of even becoming that thing that you wanted to become. You even lose the job. They even fire you from that job in the first place because they don't need you that way. They don't need you to want to kill yourself. I actually saw a film. I saw a film of a girl that was suffering from that anorexia, and she was now weighing 40 kilograms or something, and she was so bad she couldn't even stand up from bed. She was so thin that she eventually died. I think she lost weight until she was 24 kilograms or something like that. So she became so skinny, they couldn't save her life. I mean, can you imagine? Only bones were weighing 24 kilograms, not just because she wanted to be skinny and be beautiful, as she said. Because she doesn't want to grow. She doesn't want to grow older. She wanted to remain the same way she was looking at 14. And she wanted to starve herself not to grow fat because she doesn't want change. Any attempt to resist change is an invitation to a greater problem, to greater crisis. We invite greater trouble, greater crisis, greater problem to our lives when we want to resist change. Now, let me give you another example here of people who try to resist change in the Bible. When Jesus was about to go, he told his disciples that they must go into all nations and make disciples of all nations, all people, and that they must be scattered. He said, you start from Jerusalem, but don't remain in Jerusalem. Get out of Jerusalem and go to Samaria. And when you leave Samaria, go to the end of the earth. So God was challenging the children of Israel not to remain in one spot. Don't build a sanctuary and don't build a church where all of you just sit in and you get comforted and you are having so much comfort and so satisfied that you'll be, catering just for yourself. So God was challenging the children of Israel the first Christians, our brothers and sisters, the patriarch of faith, that they should not just, try to remain in one place. And you know what they did, of course? They are like us. They are just like us. They got a good church in Jerusalem. They started a good church in Jerusalem. And having the church in Jerusalem means they didn't need to go anywhere anymore because Jerusalem was the capital. And in Samaria was not so beautiful. Samaria was not so as wealthy, was not so cozy as Jerusalem was. Samaria didn't have the money that Jerusalem had. Samaria didn't have all the resources and all the disciples and all the things and all the provision and the blessing that Jerusalem church had. So everybody stayed put in Jerusalem. Everybody just stayed in Jerusalem and started managing the affairs of the church. That's the easy way out. And that's the way they took. Well, I don't need to tell you the story because you know what happened. Because when you say you don't want to change, you want to remain where you are, you just want to remain in Jerusalem, you will not go out of that Jerusalem, you don't even want to go to Samaria, God knows how to handle you. Although thank God for Philip, he went to Samaria, so he didn't have that problem. But all the other guys who stayed back in Jerusalem, you know what happened to them? Because even Philip wouldn't have gone to Samaria, but it was God who led him there. He went to Samaria, he did that, and then the Holy Spirit took him from there. He ministered to the Ethiopian eunuch, and then all the other guys remained in Jerusalem. You know what happened as a result? God. Because anytime you are resisting change, anytime you refuse to change, anytime you don't want to change, because change is progressive. Change doesn't just come one time. It's progressive. It's a cycle. It keeps on coming. New changes, new challenges to change always come to our lives. You will never get to a place where you are just relaxed. You will never get to a place when you are just say, okay, I've come to the end of changes. Now I don't need to change. Now it's time to enjoy. I will just sit down here and enjoy life. It will never happen. Change is always required at every stage of your life. Change is always required at every season of your life. Change is always required on daily basis in different things that we do, almost in everything that we do, because change means movement. Change means advancement. Change means progress. Change means, forward movement. So if you are not changing, it means that you are stagnant. If you are not changing, it means that you are not progressing. If you are not changing, it means that there are no forward movement. If you are not changing, it means that you are standing put. And if you are standing put, it means that you are going back, really. There is nothing like standing put in this world. Because any attempt for you to stand put means you are going back. Because the life is progressive itself. Life is dynamic. So since life is dynamic, you must join put and be more dynamic than the speed of life. If you are not even more faster, you are not changing faster than the speed of life, you are actually going back. You are going back because everything is passing you by and you are going back. So you are either moving forward or you are moving backward. Nothing like standing backward. Nothing like standing put in one place. And God will not allow that to happen to his church, because God knows if they will all remain in Jerusalem, the church will never accomplish his our agenda, our purpose on the earth. And the same thing with you. If you refuse to grow, if you refuse to constantly increase, constantly grow, you will never accomplish your purpose in life. You will never accomplish your purpose in life. So God will put you in a situation whereby you will be forced to grow. You will be forced to increase. You will be forced to constantly grow. Because if you don't do that, you will never accomplish God's purpose and God's desire on your life. So God knows that about the church in Jerusalem. And you know what he did? He said, you guys, you don't want to grow? You don't want to grow? You don't want to go? You don't want to change? You don't want to change. Okay, let's see now. If you don't want to change, don't worry. You remember what I said? Any attempt to run away from change is to invite crisis. Any attempt, any time that you attempt to resist change, you are inviting greater pain, greater crisis, greater sorrow, maybe greater tragedy. Anytime you come against change, anytime you refuse to change, you are actually opening the door of your life into tragedy, into crisis, into adversities, you are inviting adversity, you are inviting trouble, you are inviting, actually it is safer for you to just change willingly, voluntarily, just it is less costly for you to just pursue change than for you to resist change and invite crisis, sorrow, tragedy, and adversities. Well, you know the story of what happened in Jerusalem. You know the story. You know the story of what happened in Jerusalem. Yeah, you know what happened there. God, because they will not go by themselves, because they will not change their disposition, because they will not go to the ends of the world like God told them to do, because they want to remain where they are, because they want to remain in their comfort, because they want to remain where they are used to, because they want to remain in their comfort zone. You know, we all like our comfort zones. Let me tell you the truth. We all like comfort zone, isn't it? We all like comfort zone. Don't tell me you don't like your comfort zone. Comfort zone means peace. Comfort zone means security. Comfort zone means predictability. Comfort zone means that I know what to expect. Comfort zone means that there are no changes. Comfort zone means that there are no surprises. And most of us don't like surprises. We don't like surprises, isn't it? Well, I tell you, the apostles were just the same people. They were just like us. They didn't like surprises, and then they didn't like uncertainty, because change means uncertainty. Change means you don't know what to expect in that Samaria, then you don't know what to expect to the end of the earth. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what's waiting for you. You don't know what are the amenities that are there or the infrastructures that are not there. You don't know what you are going to face. You don't know these uncertainties that are waiting for you. So you think the best thing to do is just to resist this change and pretend that you are not hearing what God is telling you to do. Just pretend that you are not hearing what God is telling you to do. You turn a deaf ear to God. Well, they tried to do that in Jerusalem. They tried to do that in Jerusalem. They would not go. They stood still. They stayed put. And while they were there in Jerusalem, God sent a horrible persecution against them. Such a bad persecution that they were all scattered. It was so bad that the whole city was destroyed. It was so bad that no church was even, at a point, there was no church remaining there. Lives were lost. Many of them were killed. Many of them their lives were destroyed. And they had to run for their lives, actually. They were scattered. They were scattered by force. By force. They changed. They lost their houses. They lost their security. They lost their comforts. They lost their comfort zone. They lost their peace. They lost their families, some of them. They lost their homes. they became refugees. But if they had gone on their own accord, if they had gone willingly, they would have got a job. They would not have become refugees. They would have gotten a house. They would have gotten a property. They would have, things would have been much more predictable for them. But because they were afraid of the negative or of the uncertainty that is connected to the change, they would rather sit put. But that's more costly. The price of change is more costly than the price of resistance to change. It's going to cost you less to change than what it will cost you to resist change, my dear. So, look into your life right now. Could that crisis that you are having be caused by your unwillingness to change? Maybe to change your location, maybe to change your occupation, maybe because your unwillingness to change your character, maybe your unwillingness to change your attitude, maybe your unwillingness to change where you are, maybe your unwillingness to change your mindset, maybe your unwillingness to change your paradigm, maybe your unwillingness to change your worldview, maybe your unwillingness to change your behavior, maybe your unwillingness to change your patterns, maybe your unwillingness to change your habits. What is it that crisis is trying to change in you? That's one of the questions that you must ask yourself. Anytime that you begin to have any crisis or any kind of changes, any kind of shaking, you want to find out, what is it that I need to change? What is it that I need to change? What is it that I need to change? God is working to get you to change something in yourself, to improve yourself, to become better, to go to